We can do both as a fail-safe. It'll be backwards, so I'll just convert it if I need to.
Okay, you want me to like?
You say never stop counting, panic.
Okay, hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about children and sports psychology. I'm Sonaz.
I'm Hayne.
I'm Tessa.
And I'm Jeanette. So for the introduction, we're going to give you some background and history about the children and sports psychology. In the U.S., the estimated 45 million children under the age of 18 participate in any sports. On average, children participate in their specific sports 11 hours weekly for 18-week season. For most children, sports participation peaks near the age of 18, so that's when they mature and they decide if they want to do it or not. So for children, sports participation peaks between the age of 10 and 13 years and then declines at the age of 18. So that's when they figure out that they're good at it or they're not good at it, so they can play professionally or get a scholarship or things like that. The dropout rate for organized youth sports program averaged 35% in any given year. So for every 10 children who begin a sports season, 3 to 4 will drop out by the start of the next season. Okay, so one reason the youth sport is so popular is people feel youth receive psychological and social values from participation, character development, leadership, good sporting behavior, and achievement orientation. So parents think when the children are more socialized with their peers and the coaches and stuff, it'll build their character and teach them on how to build their character. Okay, so I have some motives for participation in youth. I have some reasons for participation in non-school sports. For boys and girls, everything is pretty much in common, but the last one is to go to a higher level of competition for boys, and for girls is to make new friends. So in this case, we can see that boys are more competitive than girls, and girls kind of care about making new friends and being more socialized. And for the reasons in school sports is they're pretty much the same thing, and the last two is for the boys to win and to go higher in level of competition. But the girls is to learn new skills and for team spirit. So again, we can see that boys care about winning and competition, but girls care about learning and team spirit and all that foo-foo stuff. So why children withdraw? It's failure to learn new skills, lack of fun, lack of affiliation, lack of thrill and excitement, lack of exercise and fitness, no challenge or failure. So when the fun stops, they don't want to do it anymore. They get bored. They're not excited. They don't care. Underlying psychological motive for participation or withdrawal is perceived competence, goal orientation, and stress response. Specifically from, or especially from parents, and I have this picture, it says, remember, children will progress through their motor development sequence at their own pace. Children have to crawl, walk, run, jump, hop. In that order, they will develop their soccer skills in the same way. So don't pressure your kids. They'll do it on their own if they like it. And kids that learn how to confront adversity in sports will develop a sense of self-discipline and pride in their work, which will only help them take their skills to the next level. That's an awesome quote. Okay, I'll do that.
You guys can just click it. Okay, so before I get into the specifics about peer relationships, since you guys have a background from Sonaz's portion, I just want you guys to be familiar with affiliation motive, and it's basically the motive that any kid has to participate in sports, as you can see in the picture. And go to the next one. So why does it play such a big role? It's pretty much really straightforward, because when you put a kid in pee-wee football or baseball, they're going to be able to make new friends. They're going to fit in a little bit more, maybe not on the first day, but as you progress through. And they're going to be able to stay active, which is great, because I've never heard a child say, let's go out because I want to stay active and perform physical activity. They're always like, I want to go out and have fun with my friends. I want to play baseball, I want to play basketball, I want to do it all. So we'll go to the next one. And peer relationships are linked to self-acceptance, self-esteem, and motivation. And those three things are pretty important, because if you don't have the motivation or self-esteem to do anything on and off the field, you're not going to be great at much. But there was a, go back to the next one. There was a lady who did a study. It was an interview of 38 kids between the ages of 8 to 16, I think. And they asked them how they viewed friendship in sport, and they came up with negative and positive things. So the negative things that they viewed was disloyalty, unattractive personal qualities, and betrayal. So a good example I chose for disloyalty was, if you didn't choose me first for dodgeball and you were team captain and you're my best friend, we're not friends anymore. Well, this was 10-year-old me, not now. But unattractive personal qualities is just what it says. Like, some girls might not want that little farmer's tan whenever they're out running, but they're going to get it anyways during track practice. And betrayal is talking to a kid who is new, who happens to be gunning for your best friend spot on the team. That can be, I guess, viewed as betrayal, because when children are at that young age, they're really sensitive, and anything you say or do can either make them cry or flip the table. Positive-wise, they found companionship, hanging out with their friends. They like the loyalty. They have things in common with their friends, which made them fit in a little bit more. And they enhance their self-esteem. So can anyone name any other? Like, why would being in sports with your friends help you? What would you get out of it besides loyalty and
Closer relationship with your friends.
Right? Okay, that's one. Just one more, I promise.
Teach you to work with others.
Yes, exactly. So we'll go to the next one. There's pro-social behavior, which is a really big one, because when children are in that environment of being able to meet new people, they're most likely going to be less nervous, I guess, in other situations where they're not going to know anyone. Help and guidance is also a big one. I think when I was maybe a freshman in high school, I joined tennis and I didn't know anyone. I made new friends, and while we were away, I was really bad at math, and I would just ask my friends who were with me to help me out because I just didn't understand certain material. Guidance is also another thing. If children don't feel comfortable approaching an adult or their parents with any issues, their next best bet is going to be the people around them, which is going to be their peers. Attractive personal qualities. I mean, I'm pretty sure Tommy doesn't want to stand next to Bob, who's like bazooka biceps if he has chicken legs. But emotional support also counts. It's more geared towards girls because girls are a little bit more in tune with their emotions and they're very sensitive. So they're more likely to, I guess, be a little bit more vocal. So in the book, they actually said that most girls said that they relied on their friends for more emotional support. And there were maybe a few boys who said emotional support because they're more in tune with the sport aspects. Absence of conflicts is another big one because if they have the communication skills developed enough, they're not going to have any conflicts because they're very concise on what they need or what they have to do, so there won't be as much. But even if they have conflicts, they're most likely able to be resolved because of that communication skill, that closeness that they have with their peers. Oh, and also peer relationships. So there was a lot of studies in the book, but one of them I'll mention, Smith in 1997 found that kids who perceive peer relationships in a positive way benefited in higher motivation, physical self-worth, and positive feelings about physical activity, which are related to lower stress, higher continuation of the participation in sport and self-motivation, which is amazing because we don't want children to associate physical activity in a negative way, because that increases the chance of them not wanting to participate in any sports, which causes them to shut down. Because I think we all know that if you tell a kid what to do, they are most likely not going to listen and do the complete opposite of what you want them to do. And continuing participation is great because if they genuinely like the sport that they're playing, they're going to want to keep doing it, which will facilitate everything that we've learned so far, like communication-wise. We'll go to the next one. And several ways to include it in sport is to increase the playtime, because most kids are just all work, no play, since they have the coaches and their parents around them. They're probably most likely telling their kids, okay, you have to go to practice, and then after that you have to get stretched out. Let's go to a massage therapist if they have money. So it's good to at least let them wind down with like a scrimmage or something, just to re-facilitate that they're having fun. Coaches and parents should be encouraging. They should encourage, I think it's like no bullying, refrain from verbal aggression, and being respectful to others, which is really important because you would think that people would teach their kids to be respectful, but sometimes the rivalries between the schools get really, really bad. I actually had this one tennis player who was rivaled to my school, and I could care less about the rivalry, and he accidentally spilled his entire tea like all over my tennis equipment and clothing, and he said oops. So there's that. And then importance of teamwork should be emphasized, because there's no I in team, and if there's ball hogs in the team, there's not going to be as much team cohesion, and one person's going to get singled out. And especially kids, they're just vicious. They say mean things, and then people start crying. We'll go to the next slide. And between stress and burnout, they are related, but of the people who are, of the kids who are stressed, only 10% of them actually are under excessive stress conditions. But they all have similar characteristics. They have high trait anxiety, low self-esteem, perfectionism, and fear of failure, less perceived fun, and their satisfaction for their performance usually decreases over time. We'll go to the next one. And they did this inventory, and they asked 30 wrestlers how they felt stress-wise before a match, and only 9% of them over here said that they were stressed. So that kind of further proves that the majority of kids at that age, they don't feel stressed because it's just not that stressful to them. And situational sources of stress can be defeat, event importance, or sport type. So sport type is like team sports versus individual sports. I think if you're by yourself, you're only depending on yourself, which makes it a little bit more stressful for certain kids. Event importance, state championships versus regular game, which does make sense because when the stakes are higher, you're more likely to be a little bit more nervous. And defeat, anyone will be more stressed if they lose rather than win, because it's negative and positive situation right there. And we'll go to the next one. Burnout is exactly what it sounds like. Stress-induced burnout is basically the withdrawal from a sport in response to stress. And since it builds up over time, that's why it's so important for coaches to be able to identify it early, so that way children don't explode, because I think that would be really easy, at least for me. We'll go to the next slide. And how to deal with it. So for kids, at least, we have like physical strategies, like a stress bag, to be able to put all your stress into and leave it there and then be able to perform well on the field. Positivity and optimism is an obvious one, because the more positive you are, the more positive your environment is, the more likely a child is able to perform better. Role models, I used Maria Sharapova and Michael Jordan as examples. So when you tell a kid that other successful athletes have success doing certain things, they're more likely to comply with what you say because you have like actual proof that works. Peyton Manning is also a good one with positive self-talk. And individual approach is also very important because every child learns differently. And there's some children who really like sports but also have other interests like music and Harry Potter and stuff like that. So to individualize a certain program is very important. And to tell adolescents at that age just to relax and don't be nervous doesn't work. And for that reason is because if we don't teach them how to relax or how to do any of those things, then we're just saying words. So we're not really teaching them anything.
So effective coaching practices for young athletes. For obvious reasons, coaching practice designed for elite athletes shouldn't be the same for young athletes that are developing. For obvious reasons, elite athletes are going to be more committed. It could be like their career, and kids are more in it for the fun, and they're just going to, maybe like for like physical activities and stuff. And there's an organization called Positive Coaching Alliance that emphasizes coaching to be more positive with young athletes. So I'm just going to show like a short video on what they're about.
Over 70% of kids drop out of organized youth sports by age 13. The number one reason given as to why kids quit sports? Excessive pressure from not only coaches but parents.
I hit you tonight because you let me down, brother.
Oh,
You did. I don't give what you did. You let me down. I don't care if you went and play 100%. I'll get you, buddy. Cry about that. What is that? Come on, fire! You're killing me! Right down to see this trap!
At Positive Sport Coaching, we coach the coaches, and we define a coach as anyone who has a direct influence on a youth's athletic life. We believe that everyone involved with youth sports is building the foundation for our future, be it a coach, parent, family member, or school administrator. Positive Sport Coaching educates and delivers the tools necessary for coaches and parents to create an environment where young athletes will gain a fulfilling sports experience. Our classes and seminars are designed for individual coaches looking for continuing education or simply wanting to acquire more effective coaching techniques. For parents and youth sports organizations, Positive Sport Coaching offers a training and classes designed to meet your specific needs. We encourage you to visit us at positivesportcoaching.org or give us a call with any needs or questions. We look forward to hearing from you.
So you can kind of see how important it is for the coaches to be like really more positive and not so strict with the kids. Okay. And in the book, there are some researches on the coaching styles for the children. It's by Ron Frank Smith and their colleagues. They did 2 parts. The first part was to examine the relationship between coaching behaviors and the self-esteem in young basketball players. And the second part was whether coaches could learn effective coaching practices. And studies, these findings clearly identified coaching behaviors associated with positive psychological development in children. And it also found that positive reinforcement and mistake contingent encouragement positively affected postseason self-esteem measures, liking the teammates, and liking the sports played. So learning a positive approach to coaching results also in lower player dropout rates. So that was also a study found. And then coaching young athletes implications for practice. There were 12 in the book, and I'm just kind of briefly go over them. Number 1, affirming instructional and supportive behaviors are highly desirable to use. You should avoid punitive, hostile, and controlling behaviors with children. Number 2, focus on catching the right things the kids are doing and give them plenty of praise and encouragement. So that's self-explanatory. Number 3 is you want to give praise sincerely. Kids can sense if you're being fake about it too. So it says insincerity destroys your credibility as a leader or as a coach. And then number 4, develop realistic expectations. So realistic expectations appropriate to the child's age and the child's ability to perform that sport or activity. You can't expect an 11-year-old to perform as well as maybe a 15-year-old. Number 5 is reward efforts as much as outcome. So it's easy to reward when everything goes well, but that's not always the case. In games, you do lose, and so they're saying to also praise effort because, yeah. And then number 6, focus on teaching and practicing skills. All the positive coaching techniques in the world will do little good unless the children see improvement in themselves. So you want to advance them if they're doing better and stuff. And then number 7, modify skills and activities. You want to match the activity to the child and not the child to the activity. And then number 8 is modify rules to maximize action and participation. Rules can be modified to ensure success and motivation in the children. And number 9 is reward correct technique, not just outcome. That one's the obvious. And then 10 is use positive sandwich approach, which is, for example, you want to start with something like good try, you didn't give up, and then you want to give them advice on how they can perform or do better, and then you want to end it with an encouraging remark, like, you got this next time. Number 11, create an environment that reduces the fear of trying new skills. And then number 12, be enthusiastic. The role of the parents. Recently, a considerable amount of attention has been given to the understanding role of the parents, and that's due to the negativity aspect that the parents play on the child. National survey of junior tennis coaches found that 3 out of 10 parents do things that interfere with the child's development. And there's a little quote I found that I was really like. It said, rather than using harshness to push your kids to the limit and force mental toughness on them, focus instead on lifting them up with inspiration and positive motivation to invite them to pull themselves up to greatness.
Okay, so there has been research on parenting support. According to Crane, Greenleaf, and Snow, they conducted a case study of a former youth gymnast. Research found that this athlete participated in an overly competitive, ego goal-oriented environment, which was an environment created by coaches and parents who emphasized winning, perfect performance, and performing with or despite pain. Basically, they would push kids to perform, and that would lead to unhealthy behaviors, disordered eating. So it wasn't very healthy for the children. According to researchers studied male and female youth basketball participants and their parents, and found that parental enjoyment of physical activity was related to parents encouraging their children's involvement. This encouragement influenced their children's involvement in sports. So, according to research, Van, he found that parental support lessened the youngsters who might suffer adverse stress-related effects after their below-average soccer performances. According to Coakley, he suggested that life expectations have changed dramatically over the past several decades, and that today's parents are held increasingly responsible for the actions of their children. Parent success is tied to the achievements and success of their children. Reasons is parents invest tremendous amounts of time and money in their child's actions. Sport parenting matters and has important influences on young athletes' attitudes, dispositions, motivation, effective responses, and behavior at all stages of the athletic talent development process. Factors influencing sport parenting include parents' personality, disposition, parenting styles, expectations, attitudes, and behaviors, and environments they help create. Sport parenting is a complex process that changes as the child matures physically, psychologically, and socially, and depends on what type of program the child enters and his or her stage of athletic talent development. Researchers have found that parents can play a highly positive or negative role in the youth sport experience. The challenge for people involved in youth sport is to identify the precise way in which parents can positively affect the experience for youngsters and to encourage parents to use these practices. They need to identify the negative actions and facilitate efforts to eliminate them. Negative parental behaviors will never be completely eliminated from youth sport, but much can be accomplished by educating parents or improving the lines of communication among parents or coaches. According to the American Sport Education Program, they offer excellent suggestions concerning parental responsibilities and practices. So based on the program, parent orientation meetings should take place at the start of the season to inform parents to discuss the coach's qualifications. And educating parents and maintaining open lines of coach-parent communication are important ways to ensure beneficial parental influence in the children's sport. So when children are born, they do not come with a sport involvement instruction manual, and most parents had some training in sport parenting before, so it's good that way they can help their children succeed in the sports. And as a child grows and develops, the role of a sport parent changes. For example, research has shown that before age 10, youngsters feel a much greater effect from parental feedback, and after age 10, children prefer peer feedback. A critical role for the exercise science and sports science professional is to educate parents about how they can help optimize their child's sport experience.
Okay, so our activity, I'm going to give you guys a word bank. You have like 10 seconds to memorize it, not really. So we're just going to show you these two videos, and you're going to jot down as many terms related to the video that we lectured about as you can, and whoever has the longest list wins. So we'll have, there's 7 people, so I guess, are you guys okay with, oh, this is just an intro. Are you guys okay with like groups, like 4 and then 3? 4, 3. Okay, so you 4 and then, where's the other guy?
He's coming back.
Okay, I guess you 3, and then I'll stick them in wherever later. Okay, you guys ready?
Yes.
Oh, do you guys have like a sheet of paper? No?
I got a notepad.
Okay, that works too. You can start it.
Keep Later, grab some fish. Come on! There we go, John Piero. Look good.
Indian market. AJ, Zach, everybody see what we gotta do with these guys? 4-on-1, 3-on-another, right? We have to smother.
Okay, that was the first video. This is the word bank. These are just some ideas.
Where are you gonna kick it? Right here, aren't you? I know you're gonna kick it. Mind your head. Mind your head. See the goal? It's getting smaller. I'm getting bigger. Concentrate. Keep like a hilarious. Mind your head.
Okay. Any, I'll look at your lists. Whenever you guys are ready. Okay. Do you guys have a list?
Yeah. Bye, phone.
All right. I think they tied. Okay. Okay, well, we have, this is yours. We have Pop-Tarts. I don't know if you guys want them, but we have the amount, like, each person gets one. So I don't know if you guys.
So you guys can all get Pop-Tarts for coming.
What flavor?
Present.
Strawberry?
Strawberry.
Who doesn't like strawberry Pop-Tarts? No?
Does anyone want any?
I'll take one.
Yeah.
You're good?
Yes, I'm good.
Kill this. Oh, crap.
Okay, cool.
I'll just open it and then.